In 2021, Tiger Woods crawled out of a flipped car doing 87 in a 45 zone. Surgeons put a metal rod in his leg and talked about amputation. He survived. He came back. The world called it a miracle. But nobody asked the harder question. What was really going on behind the comeback? Why did he refuse the urine test after his latest arrest? Why did he blow 0.00 again but still fail every sobriety check? The court just handed down its final decision. And for a man who spent 683 weeks ranked #1 in the world, this sentence hits different. The boy who was built to dominate. Tiger Woods was born Eldrick Taunt Woods on December 30, 1975, in Cypress, California. His mother, Coltita, chose Eldrick because it began with the E from Earl and ended with the K from Coltita. But the name the world would remember came from his father, Earl Woods, a Green Beret, who served 2 tours in Vietnam. Earl deeply admired a South Vietnamese colonel named Vong Dang Phong, a man everyone called Tiger. Earl gave his son that same name, unknowingly tying a little boy from California to a story of war, loyalty, and grit long before he ever held a golf club. Earl was no ordinary father. Before his military service, he had broken barriers as one of the first African-American baseball players at Kansas State University. He had discipline, pride, and a huge sense of purpose. People close to him said Earl believed his real mission in life was not simply to raise Tiger, but to prepare him to dominate golf. When Tiger was still a baby, Earl noticed something special in his hand-eye coordination. Their backyard soon became a tiny practice ground with little clubs and a father who already believed he was shaping someone different. That belief did not stay hidden for long. In October 1978, when Tiger was just 2 years old, he appeared on The Mike Douglas Show. The tiny child walked onto a stage carrying a miniature golf bag while the audience roared, sharing the spotlight with Bob Hope and Jimmy Stewart. He hit full swings off a mat as if it were the most natural thing in the world. At one point, he hit 2 putts so hard that both rolled past the hole. Instead of freezing, he calmly picked up the ball, placed it beside the cup, and made the crowd burst out laughing. He was only 2, but already he had charm, nerve, and timing. The next few years only added fuel. At 3, Tiger shot a 48 over 9 holes. By 5, he had appeared in Golf Digest and on ABC's That's Incredible. He became the only child ever featured in the magazine at that time. But not everything was easy. For years, almost no one knew that Tiger struggled with a stutter. He kept that pain quiet until 2015, when he revealed it in a deeply personal letter to a teenage boy named Dylan, who had spoken about suicide after being bullied for his own stutter. Tiger told him he used to practice by talking to his dog. He also took special classes for 2 years to slowly work through it. That letter showed a frightened boy behind the fearless icon. At 6, Tiger made his first hole-in-one. At 8, he won the Junior World Golf Championships. From 1988 through 1991, he won 4 straight Junior World titles, collecting 6 altogether, a record no one has matched. When Tiger was 11, he beat his father for the first time. Earl was a 1-handicap golfer who loved pushing Tiger hard. But on that day, Tiger birdied the 16th and made a long eagle putt on the 18th. Earl missed his own chance, and Tiger gave his first real fist pump. Earl later admitted he never beat him again after that. The father who had built the machine could no longer control it. By 13, Tiger had reached scratch handicap. In 1991, at just 15, he became the youngest U.S. junior amateur champion ever. He came back in 1992 and 1993, and won again, becoming the first player to win the title 3 years in a row. Along the way, he stacked up 18 straight match-play wins. In June 1994, he graduated from Western High School and was voted most likely to succeed by his classmates. He chose Stanford on a full scholarship as an economics major. He won his very first college event, and his teammate, Not a Big A3, gave him the nickname Urkel. He was still just a young guy on campus, even while doing things that hinted at a much bigger future. In 1995, he played the Masters as an amateur and tied for 41st, finishing as the low amateur. In 1996, he won the NCAA individual title, was named NCAA Player of the Year, and shot a course record 61. In August 1996, 2 days after winning his 3rd straight U.S. amateur, Tiger Woods turned professional. His debut came at the Greater Milwaukee Open, where he tied for 54th. The quiet did not last. On October 6, 1996, he won the Las Vegas Invitational, becoming the youngest PGA Tour winner since 1963. In only 5 events that year, he won twice. Before he had even settled into pro life, Nike gave him a deal reportedly worth $40 million over 5 years, and Titleist added another major contract. The reign and the ruin. Then came April 1997 at Augusta National. Tiger Woods did not merely win the Masters, he tore through it. At 21 years old, after a shaky start, he shot 66 and 65 in the next 2 rounds, carried a 9-shot lead into Sunday, and finished at 18 under par. He beat Tom Kite by 12 shots, the largest margin in Masters history. He broke Jack Nicklaus's tournament scoring record and became the youngest Masters champion ever. He also became the first winner of African or Asian descent at Augusta. The final round drew 44 million viewers, the highest rating ever for golf. The sport itself began changing around him. People started talking about tiger-proofing Augusta. The club added length, moved tees, reshaped holes, but Tiger won the Masters again in 2001, 2002, 2005, and 2019. The year 2000 may have been when he became untouchable. He won 9 PGA Tour events in 20 starts, including 3 straight majors. He broke Byron Nelson's scoring record with a season average of 68.17. The most terrifying example came at the 2000 US Open at Pebble Beach. He finished at 12 under par and won by 15 shots, the largest margin in any major championship. He was the only player in the entire field to finish under par. Everyone else combined to finish 1,817 over par. Then he won the 2000 Open Championship at St. Andrews by 8 shots, the 2000 PGA Championship in a playoff, and on April 8, 2001, the Masters again to hold all 4 major titles at once. It became known as the Tiger Slam. At age 25, he had all 4 major trophies, living above the normal rules of the sport. Tiger Woods spent 683 weeks as the world's #1 ranked golfer, the most ever. That includes a streak of 281 straight weeks from June 2002 to October 2010. Greg Norman is second with 331 weeks. No active player has come close. He reached 82 PGA Tour wins, tying Sam Sned's record, doing it far faster than Sned had. But Thanksgiving night in 2009 cracked everything open. On November 25th, his wife, Elin Nordegren, found a text on his phone from Rachel Uchitel that said, "You are the only one I've loved." What followed was a fierce confrontation. Then, around 2:25 a.m. on November 27th, he rushed to his Cadillac Escalade, clipped a fire hydrant, and crashed into a neighbor's tree. The National Enquirer published its story, and within days, at least 9 women had come forward. By month's end, the number climbed to a dozen. Major sponsors like Accenture, Attant, Gatorade, and Gillette pulled away. Analysts estimated his yearly endorsement income dropped from around 92 million to roughly 92 million to roughly 70 million. A brand worth more than almost any athlete's became impossible to defend in less than 3 days. On December 11, 2009, Tiger announced an indefinite break from golf, finally admitting his infidelity in public. For nearly 5 months, he stayed out of sight. The 2017 arrest and the drug cocktail. On May 29, 2017, police in Jupiter, Florida, found Tiger asleep behind the wheel of his Mercedes-Benz at 2:03 a.m. The engine was still running. Both left side tires were blown out. When they woke him, he was confused, giving unclear answers about where he lived. He blew 0.00 on the breathalyzer, no alcohol. But when toxicology results came back in August 2017, the picture became much darker. Tiger had 5 substances in his system: Vicodin, Dilaudid, Xanax, Ambien, and THC. It was a dangerous mix of painkillers, anti-anxiety medication, and a sleep drug. When dashcam footage was released, Tiger leaned against the patrol car, struggled to stay balanced, and stumbled through parts of a sobriety test. This was not the sharp, focused athlete people had known. He later said the incident was caused by an unexpected reaction to prescribed medications after his 4th back surgery. In court, he pleaded guilty to reckless driving, was placed on 12 months of probation, fined $250, and ordered to complete community service and DUI school. Legally, that closed the case. But in public memory, it stayed open. The 2021 crash that nearly killed him. On February 23, 2021, Tiger was involved in a terrifying high-speed crash in Rancho Palos Verdes, California. Around 7:15 a.m., his Genesis GV80 was traveling between 84 and 87 miles per hour on a downhill stretch where the speed limit was 45. He missed a curve, crossed the median, smashed through a signpost, hit a tree at roughly 75 miles per hour, rolled several times, and landed upside down in a ditch. Black box data later confirmed the speed. The damage to his right leg was catastrophic. He suffered shattered open fractures in both the upper and lower parts of the tibia and fibula, plus serious injuries to his ankle and foot. Surgeons inserted a metal rod into his tibia and used screws and pins to hold the fractures together. At one point, amputation was reportedly discussed. His survival alone was remarkable. Keeping the leg was even more extraordinary. By the end of 2021, Tiger admitted the crash had ended any realistic hope of a full-time PGA Tour career. The 2026 arrest and the final sentence. Then came another ugly twist. On the night of March 26, 2026, Tiger Woods was involved in a single-vehicle crash on Jupiter Island, Florida, the same affluent community where he has lived for years. According to the Martin County Sheriff's Office report, his Land Rover was traveling south on Beach Road when he swerved to avoid a pickup truck towing a pressure-cleaning trailer. He clipped the back end of the trailer, lost control, and flipped onto the driver's side. Witnesses at the scene told deputies they saw Tiger crawl out through the passenger window. He was not seriously injured, but responding deputies noted that he looked lethargic, his speech was slurred, and he was visibly impaired. What happened next made headlines around the world. Tiger voluntarily submitted to a breathalyzer test at the scene. The result? 0.00. No alcohol whatsoever. Yet deputies still described him as failing multiple field sobriety tests: the walk and turn, the one-leg stand, and the horizontal gaze nystagmus test. When asked if he had taken any medications, deputies requested a urine test to screen for drugs. Tiger refused. Under Florida's implied consent law, refusing a lawful chemical test after a DUI arrest triggers an automatic license suspension and can be used against you in court. This arrest arrived at a moment when Tiger's name was already back in the news for other reasons. Just weeks earlier, in early March 2026, his ex-wife, Elin Nordegren, had given a rare interview to People magazine, marking nearly 17 years since their divorce was finalized. In the interview, she spoke about co-parenting their two children, Sam and Charlie, and admitted that she still worries about Tiger's health and judgment. "I want my children to have their father," she said, "but I've learned that I cannot control what he does." That interview, which trended on social media for days, now reads as eerily prescient. Additionally, Golf Digest had just published a major retrospective on Tiger's 1997 Masters victory for its 29th anniversary, and a new documentary titled Tiger: The Reckoning had begun streaming on Netflix in February 2026. The documentary, which features never-before-seen footage from the 2017 arrest and interviews with former associates, ends with a sobering question. What happens when the body gives out but the demons don't? That question now has a partial answer. The court proceedings moved quickly. Because of the refusal to submit to the urine test and the property damage caused by the crash, he struck a mailbox and a landscaping wall before flipping. Prosecutors charged Tiger with 2 counts: DUI with property damage and refusal to submit to a lawful chemical test. Given his 2017 reckless driving conviction, this was technically a second offense, though Florida law treats the refusal as a separate violation. On April 28, 2026, Tiger appeared via Zoom before Martin County Circuit Judge Kathleen Roberts. He sat alone in a dark room, wearing a black polo shirt, and spoke only to answer, "Yes, Your Honor," and "I understand." The sentence was handed down on May 1, 2026. Judge Roberts was sympathetic but firm. Tiger avoided jail time, a relief to his legal team and his children. However, the penalties were far harsher than in 2017. He was ordered to serve 18 months of probation, doubled from his previous term. He must complete 100 hours of community service, attend weekly DUI school for 6 months, and submit to random drug testing at his own expense. His driver's license was suspended for 1 full year. He was fined $5,000 plus court costs, and in an unusual addition, the judge ordered that Tiger must attend weekly therapy sessions with a court-approved addiction counselor for the duration of his probation. "Mr. Woods," Judge Roberts said, "you have been given more chances than most. The court will not give you another." Perhaps the most significant penalty was not criminal but professional. Within 48 hours of the sentence, the PGA Tour issued a statement confirming that Tiger Woods would not be eligible for a sponsor's exemption for the remainder of the 2026 season. His longtime partners Nike and TaylorMade both released carefully worded statements expressing disappointment, though neither terminated their deals outright. But the message was clear: The comeback is over. For a man who once dominated the world, the 2026 sentence is not about jail time. It is about finality. Tiger Woods turned 50 in December 2025. His body has been through 8 major surgeries, including 5 on his back and 2 on his right leg. He has admitted he can no longer practice for more than an hour without pain. And now, with a 1-year license suspension, random drug testing, and the PGA Tour effectively closing its doors, the path back to competitive golf is gone. The world will remember Tiger Woods for the 15 majors, the 82 wins, the Tiger Slam, and the 683 weeks at number 1. But the final chapter of his active career will be written, not with a triumph, but with a refusal to take a urine test on a Florida roadside. That is the sentence that matters. Not the fine, not the probation. The sentence is goodbye. Tiger Woods will never play competitive golf again. The legend is over. The man now has to figure out how to live.